Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first SALTO Digital Spotlight session. My name is Jaakko Vorja. I'm the Senior Advisor at SALTO Digital, and I will be hosting today the first ever Digital Spotlight session. At the moment, we are physically in Helsinki at the Finnish National Agency for Education in Finland, and here we stream this live event to you. This spotlight session will be recorded and put afterwards to YouTube, so make sure your microphones and cameras are closed. If you have any colleagues who didn't make it to this live stream event, make sure you share the recording later on. It will be put to our website and on the YouTube, and we will make sure you will know where the recording is afterwards. Since this is a hybrid event, we warmly welcome any comments and questions to Microsoft Teams chat, where my colleague Juha Kiviniemi will be moderating. But for now, buckle up and let's move forward. So, about SALTO Digital Spotlight. This, as said, is the very first Spotlight session we've ever had, and it's all about evidence-based knowledge, it's about research, it's about studies, and it's about good practices. In SALTO Digital, we gather evidence and analysis of good practices project results and do project results analysis and publish and disseminate good practice projects, among others. In this spotlight session, we shed light to early key takeaways and upcoming publications. And these sessions include discussions about good practices and research and studies and other evidence-based outcomes. Today, we are going to talk to you about two studies that we have made together with our colleagues from Tallinn University, Estonia, and from a Finnish company called InnoLink. Today, we're going to start with the first presentation. We have Professor Mart Lampere from Estonia, from Tallinn University. He's working at the Center for Educational Technologies, and he's going to give you the first insights and takeaways about the research project called Digital Transformation Projects and Good Practices. After that, we have Henrik Sievers, who is a senior advisor at InnoLink. And together with Henrik, we have been studying the review of digital transformation in the European programs. After these two presentations, which both have time for 1 or 2 questions at the end, after these two presentations, we're going to have a small 10-minute break. And then at the other half of this spotlight session, we are going to continue with a panel discussion. But now, I think I will give the floor for Mart Lampere. Welcome, Mart, and I will put your presentation. Here you go.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, as Jaakko already mentioned, so I'm going to share with you only some very initial results from our research that we conducted with my colleague, senior researcher James Sunny Kwaiko. And we tried to analyze mostly Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps project descriptions from the perspective on how well and to what extent they address European Union's digital transformation goals. So our Center for Education Technology is probably the largest center in this field in Baltic countries. So we are already there for almost 30 years. It's the International Center with 35 plus researchers. And this time we were contracted by SALTO Digital to conduct research on digital transformation in European Union's these two programs, Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps. So the main focus was to carry out exploratory qualitative review of literature, reports, project descriptions, and other publications that address Erasmus Plus and Solidarity Corps activities, focusing explicitly on European Commission's digital transformation policies and priority. So we had 3 research questions. What kind of projects on digital transformation have been carried out, and how have these projects addressed the development of digital education ecosystem, which is one of the key priorities in European Digital Education Action Plan. And the third research question is how have these projects addressed digital skills and competence development, and what are the key findings? So digital transformation is actually relatively new concept in the European policy discourse, because when I started my research in this field, most of the policy documents were writing and talking about e-learning or later technology-enhanced learning. But now European Union has a little bit wider perspective on digital transformation that is interpreted as the integration of digital technologies by companies and other organizations, public organizations, schools, non-governmental organizations, and the impact of these digital technologies on society at large. So the main idea is that that digital transformation should help European Union and its member countries to become more competitive on the global scale, but also to optimize production, reduce emissions and waste, boost companies' competitive advantages, and introduce new services and products to customers. So actually, in this sense, digital transformation is interlinked and supports the other European Union's priority, which is the green transformation. So digital transformation has been overarching priority, not in one, but several European Union's policies and programs, such as Digital Decade 2030, Digital Program 2021-27, and Digital Education Action Plan. We can look at the digital transformation in at least 3 different levels. So on the societal level, it can be understood as a readiness or capability of this society to do something more or differently, better with the help of digital technologies. And this actually has been measured by Eurostat already for years. Eurostat has created this digital economy and society index that is used for ranking European Union's member states every year. And it has many components. Some are also related with education, some are related to skills, but there are many other indicators there. There are also some societal level digital transformation indices that are focusing only on education. For instance, Center for European Policy Studies has created index for of readiness for digital lifelong learning, and I was, of course, very happy to find out that the first time they actually used and then calculated this index for all European countries, Estonia happened to be in the first place. We're still confused a little bit at why, but it's just good to know. But this is on the societal level. Digital transformation can took place also on organizational or meso level, and I think it is very important level. I strongly believe, as a former school principal, that in education sector, if we disregard this meso level or organizational level change management, our innovations that are supported by programs like Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps are not so effective, and its impact might be not so long-term or sustainable. So that's why organizational level transformations are important, and European Union has been also supporting it with different instruments. For instance, for educational organizations, European Commission has created this framework called DICCOMP.org, Digitally Competent Organizations. And that has been also used as a theoretical basis for self-assessment tool, online self-assessment tool that schools around Europe can use to measure their advancement in their digital transformation, but on the organizational level only. Selfie for schools have been used by millions of teachers, school leaders, and students now, and has become really irreplaceable, very useful tool in the process of digital transformation. Then, of course, you can also address digital transformation on the group level. For instance, within the project consortium of some teamed up organizations or non-governmental organization or of people in some specific sector. So, for instance, the European Commission has developed Selfie for Teachers, which is self-assessment tool for teachers to measure their digital competence. Again, it just like Selfie for Schools, this instrument has been translated to all European languages and has attracted millions of users all around Europe. Yes, but when we look at now at our this small research exercise that we started only in November, we first had this idea that we would try to do some sort of like a meta-analysis on existing research reviews, but we were not able to find so many relevant research reviews. So then we changed our focus, and we actually went for actual project descriptions from the databases of Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps. So of course, as you can imagine, Erasmus Plus has been around already, I don't know how many years, more than 10 definitely. And we went back to the beginning of Erasmus Plus and searched for project descriptions that included our magic keywords that we have agreed with SALTO Digital. It means the digital skills, digital competence, digital literacy, new technologies, ICT, media literacy, fake news, disinformation, digital safety, and some others. So using these keywords, we had to adapt them a little bit for higher education and adult education, vocational education, and youth projects. But eventually, the set of keywords helped us to filter and shortlist 624 projects for school education sector, 152 for higher education, 177 for adult education, and 206 for vocational education, and only 53 for youth So for European Solidarity Corps project descriptions, which are also thousands, we only were able to identify 67 that matched our search criteria. And then we also acquired short lists of good practice projects that are like selected by national agencies of Erasmus+, that are filtered out by the groups of experts probably and in national agencies to show a good example to new project writers and partners in various projects. We also used a short list of the first ever SALTO awards in digital transformation category. There were only 3 projects, but European Innovative Teaching Award had more than 200 projects, and we again filtered them in accordance to our keywords. So we tried also to identify other relevant research literature, but not so successfully. All these the project descriptions then were used for qualitative thematic content analysis using MaxQDA software. Yes, as I mentioned, that we were not so successful in identifying already existing research reports that cover hundreds of Erasmus Plus and Solidarity Corps projects. But on the other hand, if we search just for, let's say, DCOMP-EDU, which is a European policy instrument, very clearly linked to digital transformation in education sector in Estonia, and not as Europe, then we could find within the last 5 years more than 7,000 peer-reviewed publications, but practically none of them are related to any Erasmus Plus or Solidarity Corps projects, because partners in these projects are not expected to carry out any research. They are much more practically oriented. And even if these projects consortia, they do some very useful dissemination in some conferences. For instance, I'm associated with EDEN, European Distance and E-Learning Network, and our conference every year attracts many short papers, but mainly posters about this Erasmus Plus and Solidarity Corps projects that are clearly linked to digital transformation, but they don't do any research, and they focus only on one project in very narrow format, and it's very difficult to do meta-analysis based on that. And there are even more papers focusing on DCOMP, which is a European framework for citizens' digital competence, and relatively fewer publications that involve or mention DCOMP.org, and this is European framework for digitally competent organizations. So that's why we focused on mostly on project descriptions. So our first research questions was that how much and in which way European projects in Erasmus Plus and Solidarity Corps programs have been addressing digital transformation. As I said, out of thousands of project descriptions, we shortlisted with these keywords 624, and practically all of them mentioned digital competence or ICT skills. So it doesn't matter that they actually invested a lot of effort in increasing someone's digital skills. Maybe they only mentioned that this is like required, or this is an important topic which their project is linked to. But yes, practically all of these mentioned ICT skills or digital competencies. Other topics can see that we also looked at whose digital competence is addressed there. And it was mostly students' digital competence, digital skills, but then in quite a number of projects, 26% also address teachers' digital competence. And surprisingly, many projects also addressed higher level digital skills, like related to AI, virtual reality, augmented reality, programming, or the other more serious, in-depth skills related to computer science. But this shows only now the project's initial results for school education sector, and it was slightly different for higher education and vocational education sector. But here is the distribution of significantly smaller number of projects in European Solidarity Corps program. And here you see that the most popular topic is information literacy. So it means how to find information, how to deal with information, but also digital competence is on the sharing the second and third place with social media. So our second research question focused on how these projects in Erasmus Plus and Solidarity Corps programs are addressing the first priority in European Digital Education Action Plan, which is fostering the development of high-performing digital education ecosystem. Digital ecosystem is another new term that has been used in policy discourse. And I think in most of the cases, it's used in metaphorical way. So everybody knows something about biological ecosystems. You know, there are some niches where biotic and abiotic species live together. So, and now it has been used as a metaphor for a digital ecosystem where we have humans who are users of digital technology, corresponding these biotic parts of biological ecosystems interacting with digital tools, which are then non-living parts. This is where the metaphor actually stops. So it doesn't go much longer. And it means that the digital education ecosystem has been probably in purpose kept a little bit vague. So the best guideline in this kind of policy study we have to make sense that what is meant by digital education ecosystem is a description of the priority one in the European Digital Education Action Plan. So here you see that the main focus goes on blended learning approaches, digital education content, connectivity and digital equipment, it means hardware, digital transformation plans, it means managing strategic development of digital transformation in education, both on societal level and organizational level. Then ethical guidelines of the use of digital technologies, especially AI. So this is how European Commission makes sense of this metaphor of digital education ecosystem. So we used a little bit modified way of these keywords and tried to make sense that how these projects that have been already funded by these two programs have been addressing it. So this network diagram actually shows the correlations. So it means that the darker, the bolder the line is, it means that there are more connections between these points. So it means that the school education sector has been mostly dealing with use and adoption of digital platforms and tools, which is part of digital ecosystem, obviously. And virtual or online digital e-learning material production, and also addressing fake news and other misuse of digital technology in the information space. So, but also you can see in all sectors, higher education, vocational education sector, the digital pedagogy being one important component in this process of developing digital education ecosystem, and also women and girls in IT. So improving the gender balance. So it is clear that majority of Erasmus Plus project in this category still were contributed by the school education sector, and very few Solidarity Core projects actually addressed the digital education ecosystem topics. These are just initial results. When we publish our final study, you can see already in-depth analysis. So the third research question focuses more specifically on digital skill and competence development, which is the priority number 2 in European Digital Education Action Plan. And here European Commission has set this kind of goals or actions, developing the competence frameworks, digital skill certificates, then also monitoring cross-national collection of data, and again you see women's participation in STEM disciplines, and so we identified again, as you see, it's repeated because the topic is the same with the first research question, that ICT skills or digital competence is addressed in school education sector practically in all shortlisted projects. But on top of that, from the other topics in this third research question, we also see the VR, AR, and again student digital skill improvement, which is again much more prioritized than teachers' digital competence development. But as I mentioned, we don't know on which level they actually deal with it. In my previous research, I've quite often have this issue that, for instance, my students, master students, PhD students, they do research and, for instance, interdisciplinary STEM project-based learning, and then they mentioned that, oh yeah, this project can be categorized as linked to all 4 subjects in STEM, including mathematics. But then if we take a closer look, they said that it is linked to mathematics because students have to measure something or calculate something. But I said, come on, this is the 8th, 9th grade students. They actually do quite complicated algebra and trigonometry in their math lessons. And in this project, you do very basic math that they actually studied 8 years ago in the primary school. So it means that you cannot report it as a project that addresses math learning outcomes from national curriculum. And this is a little bit, might be a problem here in this very initial analysis, that the project descriptions, they mention digital skills and competence, but they actually don't work on it. They don't contribute in developing it. At least they don't measure it. In one of the analysis exercises, we actually tried to see that if they also assess the digital competencies, and there was only fraction of projects that actually use these marvelous tools provided by European Commission, like decomp based self-assessment, self-rating scales, or tests, or decomp edu, selfie for teachers, self-assessment tool which is available for free for everybody and can be easily used in any project that is claiming to work on teacher digital competence. But we don't know. So it means that a little bit deeper analysis is needed, which is challenging if we are talking about 600 projects only in school education sector and more than 1,000 projects, which is shortlist of the project. So that's why we think that if we want this type of analysis to become regular in the future, we need to develop some more clear, easy to use and easy to understand framework for similar analysis. Okay, and this is not very legible, a very small font here, but these are European Solidarity Corp projects, which the numbers are very small. It's 19 and 7 and 8 that focus on digital skills and competence. So just to wrap it up, I'm illustrating it with our previous research on digital transformation enhancement and development in Estonia and general education. How we have tried to come up with some kind of taxonomy just to show that it can be done. And I don't say that this can be used in on European level. But basically, what we have done, we designed 5 levels of digital transformation on organizational level. So on the first level, it's only accidental use of digital practices and tools. And the second level, the school starts to internally coordinate these activities. On the third level, they use already so deeply these digital tools and practices that that they actually start to redesign their processes. And you notice also percentages on the horizontal axis. It shows also the share of the people in this organization who are already committed and engaged in these digital practices. And then on the fourth level, this digital transformation has been basically completed in this organization. And level 5 is for those schools who become like lighthouses for other schools in the region and inspiration and trainers and mentors and coaches and so on. But it's also very important that we have to make sense also on depth of this transformation. It means that how deeply we're going to redesign our core processes thanks to the digital transformation. So we use this taxonomy of digital transformation levels to create a self-assessment instrument for Estonian schools called Digital Mirror. 90% of Estonian schools have been using it since 2016. And it has 15 indicators that schools have to use for self-assessment, and they have to provide also evidence that they actually are on level 2 or level 3. And then they can use the same instrument for setting the goals for next 3 years and creating an action plan that actually takes them to the next level. But this is just illustration that it can be done, but it's definitely much more complex and the scale of European programs like Erasmus Plus and Solidarity Corps. But I think it would be useful, and we are going to propose as a result of our research some ideas for the digital transformation taxonomy on organizational and group level. Then also we are going to recommend some better operationalization of digital education ecosystem concept. And I think in future analysis, it would be important to separate 2 levels of how the projects are connected to this digital transformation. Because first level is only alignment. Is it aligned or not? And the second level would address then how much they actually try to improve something with regard to digital skills or girls in IT or some other subtopics in digital transformation. We also think that we need to define some criteria for this analysis. Taxonomy is not enough. Also, some quite generic criteria that could easily apply for general education, vocational, adult education, but some criteria should be different, of course, for each sector. And of course, triangulation is needed to combine different research methods. Right now, we were relying only on qualitative thematic content analysis. But potential questions for future discussions are related with AI, use of AI in such analysis, and aligning the project applications forms already to this analysis criteria, while still keeping the balance between accountability and ease of use or accessibility to this kind of funding instruments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mart. That was really interesting, and there was a lot of insight, and we still have a couple of minutes time for nice questions, and there are a couple of really good questions. The first one is, could you elaborate how the Erasmus Plus contributes to digital transformation of organizations besides fostering digital skills of individuals?
So many of these shortlisted projects, especially the ones that were shortlisted by SALTO for the SALTO Awards, SALTO Digital Awards, and also several projects shortlisted by national agencies, they already include these projects that actually systematically and consciously try to raise the digitalization level in these organizations that belong to the consortium, project consortium. So either by changing practices, for instance, the very common topic is interdisciplinary project-based learning in STEM. So it's one of the things is if just one teacher in your school from time to time occasionally does it after the lessons. But the other thing is if it's systematically integrated into curriculum and scheduling and room planning and resource planning in these participating organizations. So this is just one example, but then there are others, such as many projects are, for instance, calculating their, I don't know, some kind of digital footprint or ecological footprint using digital tools, and they do it very systematically, and it is actually cross-cutting topic. So it means that it involves some physical activities in the school, like sorting the garbage, but they also measure it. So it means that they collect the data, and it becomes like systemic. And this is just few examples how organizational level digital transformation could happen.
And really quickly, another question. Can we learn something about the state of digitalization of organizations in the youth-education field based on your research?
In youth, tricky. In education, yes, because we have selfie tool, and many other countries have their own tools. Like Finland has you have your own tools for assessing the schools.
And you mean by selfie, you mean that selfie is really explicitly shown in the Erasmus Plus projects, for instance?
Yeah, it can be used in Erasmus Plus projects explicitly. So it can be already defined in the project description, and then they can use it for reporting the results and the impact of the project. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mart. And without further ado, we will change the speaker. Thank you, Mart. And next, I will welcome Henrik Sievers. He's working at the InnoLink research company, and I will let Henrik do the talking about what they have done. putting the slides on. And this session, Henrik presents the review of digital transformation in the European programs. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Henrik Sievers. Nice to be here. Greetings from Helsinki, Finland. Okay, today's study is a literature review on the digital transformation in Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps programs. So the main thing is to assess what has been done on very grassroots level and a bit of analysis of the content of the research and studies in this domain, and also the substance issues. What we are going to see today. Okay, in the introduction, setting the scene, but it's very important to know that the case context is very, very wide. It has big money, many programs, and also it is maybe as important as is the content, what we are going to see today, the actual papers, what the organizations have done. And also there was quite interesting, like key academic papers setting the scene, 4 of those. So they were somehow a background to frame the work the other parties did. And then we go very deep into the grassroots level, what kind of material there is, and there's plenty of that, like almost 60 papers. So we have read those thoroughly and taken some highlights of those. And the overarching question is also where we can see the digital transformation. And the first answer is that we can see it everywhere. So, for example, in programs, in skills, in trends, in attitudes. But the thing is that we need to somehow to categorize that and to go forward. And then I answer the research questions. They were actually the same as in the previous presentation, and that's quite nice. And in the discussion, I wrap up the thing and propose some way forward. This review focused on the studies and literature, what has been done, and especially what is the manifestation of those big Erasmus and European Solidarity Corps programs. So what is the the content from several entities? So these training and cooperation activities, long-term activities, snack reports, SALTO reports, and also many others. But then as important as these are the academic like inputs to the field. But we must bear in mind that this material here is very concentrated on youth sector, SALTO and snack material in the youth. So in that respect, the research question 2 and 3 were answered based on that material. And also the other reason that there was so scattered material, and all of those couldn't be like analyzed so deeply. But however, also source material are used in this report analysis and discussion. Maybe to pinpoint what are the priorities of this review is to foster the development of a high-performing digital education ecosystem and how to enhance the digital skills and competencies for the digital transformation. And the research questions are already mentioned in the previous presentation. If you now look the case background, so we see it's huge, and we could start maybe from the bottom. So this digital education action plan that sets the scene of these all other initiatives also along with the Erasmus and European Solidarity Corps programs. We see here also like a big budgets and also some kind of variation in these big programs. For example, new technologies, there is AI, and also we see the COVID virus, because in this time of being, these reports, the COVID was very like pinpointing and giving a like background what the scholars are doing in this field. But then we have also other kinds of things, for example, skills agenda, and also one important thing that is also highlighted in the academic papers is the EDA. So how could we like give more like impetus to that? What we see are some of the papers setting the scene in this academic field. So two of those are discussing the culture and like the impact of Erasmus. Does it affect the European identity, and are the young people or people who participate in that program, so does this Erasmus has some kind of effect to those participants? So this has like a mixed evidence, positive, yes, but not in every case as like a must thing. So it's like a mixed evidence on this. And then we see also the thing that is not only on youth, this area. We have this senior digital upskilling paper, and that highlights the need for also in seniors to be adapted to the labor market with good skills in digitalization. And we have also questions about the adult learning and social inclusion. But these are quite like robust papers. They had like large survey base, and also they used mixed methods in this research. Okay, how this study was done? Mainly in like 3 separate phases. So now we have seen setting the scene, what are the big ideas in Europe, and what are the also the academic papers in this field. And the second phase is that we have the digital education action plan priorities. These are the two of those, and they are somehow like lenses how we look this material. And the actual body of this research are the content of the research reports, like video material, YouTube material, and we will dig deeper into that in a few seconds. And that is the actually phase 3. And the final result is the discussion. So what kind of material we have, and from which entities, and are they like on practicing level, are there conferences? So what kind of things are there out there? Because there are like a huge amount of like things and also potential. And now we can also learn a little bit of Finnish because this table is from Finnish. But in the column headings, they are the focus area. So we see the majority of the research inputs are in youth sector. And when we see the rows, they are the like the institutions or different source entities. So there is also like a SALTO and SNAC are very productive, but also TCA has many inputs, and those numbers in red mean that after this research we got new material, but those are not included in this material. But anyway, it's a good sign that there are also other institutions than only like SNAC and SALTO giving inputs. This is very small, but this is the body of the material and research. And I think you might even find yourself in the audience that you have written some of these papers. But it must be noted that this material is podcasts, also conference presentations, and in that sense, this is not the whole story, because in the conferences, of course, people meet and they present and they progress the ideas and surveys together. So it wasn't somehow impossible to dig deep to below this all these things that has been done inside the conferences, because that was a too wide area, and also in that sense that these were not like in the same kind of material. So we have here apples and bananas and different kind of fruits. But it's maybe nice to see what these are in actual, what kind of research this is made. So here are the case examples, 4 of those. So from youth SNAC, youth SALTO, and EC and core, and also the research. And this had a very different way of approaching this issue, and actually these were very nice to see what is actually happening. Personally, I liked this very much because it was like easy to understand what is done here. The core idea was how to explore participation with video games. So video games are, of course, very natural environment to the youth and maybe older people also. And if you like integrate the ideas, for example, how to solve problems, how to make decisions, how to act together, and even how to behave in a democratic country and participative society. So these games were like manifestations and tools how to get young people along. And the second one, this was more like a traditional, so like calculating and measuring the digital competencies. This was a report enhancing young people's digital competencies, and this categorized the actual doing into skills, competencies, and digital fluency. And also we see even at this point, so it's very wide area. So we talk about skills, competencies, attitudes, and not only gadgets and like mobile phones or or those technical stuff. But then this area is also about how to make impact to society and how to like express your own voice. This was a nice study. Like it was a long project, like 5 years, and it has had many contributors and on how virtual volunteering is seen and how the notions of that are documented in Wikipedia. And the questions were how digital platforms and the internet facilitate virtual volunteering, focusing on its impact, its methodologies, and what is the dynamics of online volunteer engagement. Then we had also like a very up-to-date discussion. So youth workers were thinking how AI will like influence their work, and also how to possibly integrate AI into the youth workers' practices. And this has the questions as digital transformation, but also ethical dilemmas. How can we make sure that AI is not used in the like in a bad way, for example, in like getting work and somehow not promoting inclusion. Okay, these 4 papers were nice, that they were quite robust and coherent, but on different topics. But then we can see the actual maybe the one core issue. So where we can see this digital transformation. This is a bit like same like a keyword analysis that was in the previous presentation, but these are just took out from the grassroots reports. So we can see digital transformation, for example, how to access to different learning methods, how digital platforms and internet facilitate virtual volunteering, how can we implement digital transformation in education, learning, digital resources, but at the same time we need to make sure that nobody is left behind. And also we discuss what are the teachers' digital skills and also learners, and what are the digital applications. One thing which struck to my mind was the role of STEAM, because science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, they are considered quite difficult and hard subjects. Maybe not arts, but there's like a challenge or problem statement. How could this cause to make use of or increase that nobody is like left behind the young learners. Then there's also the how can we be good digital citizenship and promote that, and how to avoid those filter bubbles. So we can see in very many places is digital transformation, and actually we can move very nicely to the research question 1. So what kind of research has been done on this? So the previous slide, but also this like complements that. So maybe maybe we have here what is not like said before are those emerging technologies and also the e-infrastructure and accessibility. Then research question 2, how does the existing research address the development of digital education ecosystem and digital youth world ecosystem? So maybe this is somehow similar answer that in the previous presentation. So we cannot get into the deep what is actually done in these research papers in this, but mainly to like analyze what is the organizational environment in this respect. So here's an analysis, what are the ecosystem members and what are the outputs and what are the reasons for the ecosystem foundation. And here we have this like SALTO youth as the main focus of research. And here is the same thing from the SNAC perspective. The third question was how research addresses digital skills and competence development. So I tried to like cover this question with these 4 questions. So what actions are done, what resources are used, what competencies are developed, and how the skills and competencies are measured. Here we depict the SALTO environment, so what actions are done, but these are somehow the way that SALTO is doing its work. So actually not going not too much into the details. And in similar way we can see what resources are used. So SALTO uses financial resources, human capital, digital platforms and tools, and also educational materials. And competencies in a similar way. But also interesting question is that how these competencies are measured. So I was able to find out that SALTO had this youth pass and other certificates, and also feedback and evaluation mechanism, and also qualitative assessments and impact studies and research, and also self-assessment tools. These are very important and I think effective ways to measure the skills and competencies. Now we are in the final slide. So to wrap up, what is the mainly the material and how can we describe that and what could be done in the future. So there were very many kind of activities. So it was quite difficult to like put and analyze those in like a same way or somehow comprehensive way. The research had field workers' views, also researchers' perspectives, and also like proposing research agendas. And the outputs were fragmented and somehow lacked comparability, and there were overlapping agendas between mediums and also organization. But however, it was like richness that we had video talks, podcasts, conference reports, and also those papers, because that in that way we could actually see what is what is happening in this in somehow real life. But if we see like what could be done in the future, somehow maybe bit frame these activities within academic discourse and some high-profile experiments. And also there were like big themes in Erasmus, for example, inclusion and digital literacy. This could be taken out as a priority and maybe focus the actions on that, and perhaps doing a gap analysis on that, where we are in like promoting these like high visions, and then also maybe some like classical input output outcome impact analysis on these issues. But there are maybe to conclude there are many kinds of research. Maybe we don't need so much new like frameworks or calculations. Maybe we need to focus and do and tell good stories and like we have seen this in this like empirical material. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Henrik. Again, this was really interesting, and Henrik, you kind of like you come outside from this
Yes.
Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps domain, so to say. What are your thoughts now that you have kind of like went through all this material? There's dozens of different material and a lot of different concepts, a lot of different organizations. There's SNACs, LTAs, TCAs, E+, ESC. As a researcher yourself, what is your kind of like feeling now after this?
Yeah, it is now much more clear and like somehow good feeling, because now there is some strong lines here. So there's the high vision targets, and then the what is actually done in everyday work, but and then there is like the pursuit of like replicating in the best way these high like targets, and but maybe also there are big words, ecosystem and inclusion, and those it could be like good to like have a like strong like research lines and maybe to have a like mental map in your head what is going on. But also in the material it was seen that there are differences between countries and content within the different areas. So somehow the big picture is now much clearer than in the beginning.
Yes, I totally feel that also, and I'm looking at Juha, he's waving. We have a question.
Juha from behind the camera. Question is, can you elaborate a bit on what research gaps there are?
Okay, research gaps, yeah. Maybe I would like to pinpoint some kind of like action research or more like studies, like that video game example, because otherwise it's very like difficult to say what are the research gaps, because they are so in different level what has been done. But maybe the one research gap is to have some kind of like gap analysis in line with the Erasmus like big targets, and also maybe the input output outcome impact analysis. That could be the second.
I've been working with Henrik for these past 2 months, 3 months, and my feeling is also aligned with Henrik's idea that as Henrik presented, there's a lot of research at the moment or studies or material from youth field. Am I right?
Yes.
So one thing is that we have quite a lot of, although not like the bucket is not full, but let's say that there's a lot of material from youth sector, and we don't see that much studies or material from other sectors at the moment, at least. So maybe to target new research projects that Henrik just stated to other sectors as well, or do the gap analysis to see what kind of content-wise, whether it's video games or whether it's AI, what kind of content studies are we actually missing and from what sector? That's I think really interesting idea.
Yes.
Okay, I think we are ready for a break, and we will meet you guys, and the stream is back online 20 past. So we will see you then, and after this break we will continue with a really interesting panel discussion, and we will introduce a couple of new faces as well. Stay tuned.